moving on. Outreach committee.
Outreach committee.
Hey, welcome.
Hey, new chair.
Are you
Well,
Diane?
Diane, yes.
So here I am. I'm the also chair of the outreach committee.
You are not also. Are.
I'm interim until we figure this out.
Don't we have a couple more? Oh, Travis said he couldn't be
Travis
here.
said he couldn't
I
be
think
here.
you need to talk to Travis. We had that talk with him. He's
Yeah.
not available for any meetings.
Yeah, he's out of town.
But moving forward for the
Yeah.
South Barstow
Well, we might have some new
meeting date.
requests, and we're going to be approving those at the next full board.
Sure.
Because we got to fill John's seat. So
He was just
If
trying to
we need
determine
to-
whether or not, because he probably has to miss every meeting, whether or not he should still play a role.
Oh,
yeah,
I love Travis, but
Well, and he
but
kinda said
if
the
you
same
can't
thing.
come to the meetings, you can't come to the meeting.
he's
So
having some
wasn't-
frustrations.
Oh, wasn't Mogensen on this one, but he never shows up?
That's
Never
Okay.
seen him. It'll be a-
I would say we just forced him to write his name down, but
Okay,
Yeah,
I would imagine.
I think
he
you're
just went on
looking
a
at.
business.
You're looking at the.
Yes.
Other than Travis.
perfect.
Travis is fun.
So Dave, so Aaron Klaus, Nikki, Rita, our Aaron, Ross and me are in the room.
Hi, Dave.
I know. You guys look at my, I'm sorry.
Hey,
All
we're
right.
meeting.
I
That's
heard
what you get.
Good morning.
So, yeah, so Nikki and I had already talked. We don't have minutes. We went into the file to look for them. The template was there. I remember being at this last meeting in October. I don't
I don't think I
remember.
was there. I think I had to miss that one.
I don't remember if Kendall was there, so I don't know.
So in the past, we actually didn't take meeting minutes at committee level. It was like a running notes. That's when Dustin was here. We did do it for certain committees that were like maybe
Right.
landscaping, but it really was not ever a thing that was happening.
This
Okay.
committee I think after we did the welcome baskets, we didn't have any more money. Everything was happening with the changes, and this was the one committee that just kind of fell to the wayside. There was like a bunch
'cause
of
we
meetings
kind of-
from July that it was like me and one other person.
Okay.
Like, maybe it was just me and you, or maybe it was just me and Travis, but
Yeah.
we didn't have a lot of discussion,
Okay.
so I don't think
No.
we're missing
And we
anything.
were really focusing on the baskets once the baskets went out. It was
Yeah.
kind of like, okay,
Yeah, I don't know.
but we'll
We-
wait till we have money again next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
We will do them going forward, being
Yeah.
it is a public meeting.
Sure.
Just so they're
Yeah,
updated and
so
that,
essentially
Good-
agenda
good to
item
know.
number
From
2.
HR was at this meeting though. I swear there should have been minutes.
at the outreach,
Yeah, it was at the Lismore because I sat
it
there.
was at the Lismore. I don't
No, not
remember
Carrie,
Carrie
Kelly.
being there.
Kelly
I
was
was
there.
there. That's right, Kelly.
Travis
and
Oh,
me
no,
was
wait,
there.
I was at that meeting.
What do you
Was
do?
that the last one we, yes, you did do that. Was that the last one?
I think
Okay,
so.
yeah, we sat at the table in the lobby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Travis was
remember.
really cute that meeting.
Yeah.
Like, tell
Are
us your
you?
thoughts. And she's like, I don't know.
Oh, yes, okay, yes. Okay, so we just need to move on from agenda item 2 because there's nothing to approve. Do we, for any reason, want to bring those forward for the next meeting to approve? Are you concerned at all?
I don't think they exist.
Okay,
Yeah,
there's just nothing
unless,
to
I don't think they
rediscuss.
exist, but I guess
Okay.
we're.
Right,
gonna
'cause
keep
Kendall
having
was-
minutes moving forward.
yeah,
Okay,
because Kendall
cool.
wasn't there and unless Aaron
Okay.
took some notes.
Fair enough.
they
So,
don't. So,
skip it.
I don't
Okay.
think I was working for the city.
Yeah, so the next thing, and honestly, because we need to reset. Last year, our focus was welcome baskets and building a business listing. This year, I think welcome baskets, we'll touch on that, but, it was a little messy in getting it approved and whether or not we could do it. And the business listing, Decky is actually hiring
Taken over,
somebody
yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
So, there's just not those kinds of things for us to do. So we need to reset and decide
Yeah.
what outreach looks like. What
Yeah.
do we want to do?
I think we can do a few different things, because we always talked about outreach being kind of a multifaceted
Mhm.
outreach.
Yeah.
I think originally when Aaron had mine and Travis's orientation for
Right.
the bid, we talked about outreach. We talked about it being maybe more outreach to the unhoused.
That was a
being-
huge, right?
Right,
Well,
that
it's
was,
ambassador.
or like an outreach with with the city and with other organizations that are doing that work. And then we kind of shifted to be outreach to our bid, not saying that it didn't include the other piece, but we really didn't
Right.
have a focus, but that was definitely more of our shift. I think
Right.
that this year we can still include both of those things of outreach to the bid businesses, and
Mhm.
staying in touch with what is happening with the unhoused situations.
So, and I,
Because I think it's both
Right.
relevant.
Well, and if
But I
I'm-
also would like us to add a third before I, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I think that we should be doing outreach at events as well. Like, I think we should have a table of some sort. We should be doing some
Brand
sort of-
yourself.
Exactly. I think we should be doing outreach maybe at the busking night as that comes to fruition, at Fall Fest, at some of these different
I would
public facing, trick or treating, things
Yeah.
like that, since that happens in our bid.
Yeah,
I think that we can have a little bit of ownership over outreach to the public of like, oh, we
Right.
do this. This is what we
there's
do.
a couple things, like to kind of branch off that, like, what was I gonna say? Oh, so I strategically, place these meetings like around events
Mhm.
that are happening,
You
so they're
mentioned
like
that,
a week
yeah.
or two before. So I really saw outreach committee as like, that's part of our job, like, let's take some flyers from Jackie and go like, get in the businesses, say, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Here's a flyer, want you to know this event is happening. I
Mhm.
think that's an excuse for us to get in the doors
Yeah.
and kind of like talk to our
It's almost like
neighbors.
recruiting. I almost feel
Mhm.
like that there's a recruiting piece
Yeah.
to this almost.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like a nomination list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the other thing, I just think there's a lot looming, as far as construction goes. Hey, we've got this awesome, downtown ambassador position. I think us getting those types of information out is also what
Yeah,
outreach should be
Sure,
about.
I love that.
And these are all just excuses to like face
Touch the
to face
businesses,
and
yeah.
touch the businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could we consider having someone, I feel like having an ambassador at an outreach meeting would be expressly helpful.
Oh, yeah,
to
I
get-
asked actually if
yeah.
they could maybe be here. Are they
Um,
like available to pop up or?
Yeah, I thought you meant for the full board meeting.
Oh, well, yeah.
Um,
The full
he's
board,
down there
yes,
right
but if
now.
he's down there and wants to come up during announcements or something.
But
Or-
I think it would just be nice to have them kind of have one person as a regular, you only have what, 5-6 meetings a year, but to be able to kind of provide that feedback about what
Yeah,
they're seeing, what they're
what's
doing,
happening,
because if
yeah.
you guys know that you're having, like,
We're
I don't know if you
getting
know,
feedback
we're
from
having
businesses, yeah.
garbage can fires, this is
Yeah.
a new thing.
Yeah.
Right.
In the last couple of days, we've had like 3 or 4 garbage cans in South Barstow Bid.
On fire?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is happening? Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
we don't know. Thought it was cigarettes, but then apparently
Cigarettes over it.
outside of Clancy's a couple nights ago, Luke saw an unhoused human take a piece of paper towel, light it on fire, put it in the garbage can, and he like called him out, dumped water on it. I just found that out yesterday as I'm walking by a garbage can on fire.
yeah, send those to me as
Yeah.
soon as possible. If we have, public cameras nearby
Oh,
that we
sure.
might be able to
Sure.
figure it out.
I
Just
think Valley Brook
we-
has a camera that would have seen the
Yeah,
person.
and we can
so-
always reach out to them or we had an incident over at Banbury and they provided pictures
Sure.
and
able to
Bridget,
handle.
went to the
Yeah.
DA, they're moving forward with it and stuff. So
Perfect.
if we know, we'll address it as best as we
Yeah,
can.
And then the other part would be they have everything other than just unhoused work that they're doing. Like I saw them out shovel the walkway.
Yeah.
So that, people, handicapped people can get through with the
Yeah.
snow. So I just think knowing what they're doing and then they have eyes on things that you might not know, like
Yeah.
And they're our
And we
next
might get
agenda
feedback
item.
from businesses that
So
they
we'll
might
skip
not
ahead
yet.
too.
Right.
Yeah.
exactly.
I want to just like, can we look at our next meeting dates and kind of make a rough plan
Yeah.
of what we want to do so that we can coordinate that with you too? What are our next dates? Does anybody have that?
Yeah.
No, no,
Oh, for
bring
your
it up
meetings?
here.
I don't know,
Outreach
but I have
Because they're
things I could use you guys for.
They're a little scattered, so let's see if we can find them.
I know because I've got I really did. I think I tried to do like, one before Fall Fest, one before whatever, I don't remember.
Fall Fest, potentially, Jackie, if we have time, we'll be making a Fall Fest committee. I'd really like that. But I will really want to work specifically with South Barstow because that's where our footprint is. I know that it was a benefit to create space for the businesses that either didn't have a tent or whatever, it's like walkways, but obviously that was guided by conversations from you guys previous years. So I just want to make sure that we're meeting your needs as well.
Do you have a date on Fall Fest?
It's always forever will be the second Saturday in September, and that is because Chippewa Falls Oktoberfest and Altona's Giant
Have you seen
Pumpkin
this, by the way?
are the other weekend.
They would like one.
Can you take a picture of it?
Of that? Are you
so
finding
second
it?
Saturday.
September 13th this year.
And, I just need to look at your. I'll do the Ducky.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I want to get back to street ambassadors a little bit more too, but, I want to kind of just loosely, I think we did this last year. We just kind of, so for every meeting, we kind of have a loose idea of
Okay.
what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
So your
And then
next
have-
one is May 14th.
May 14, okay.
So before the. Winter.
May 14th. Sorry, and we're at 10:30 every.
It's a
Yes.
little bit, or is that one consistent? Some of them get
I have the
scattered.
times the same on each meeting.
Okay, so what do you have? May 14th? What are the other ones?
October 3rd and November 19th.
No, 19. Okay, and I think even more specific. So we only had 4 meetings. this
Wait,
year?
nope, that's September 3rd, not
Yeah,
October.
okay.
September 3rd and what?
November 19th. So today would be one and then 3 others, so you have 4.
We only had 4.
Yeah, we did
Yep.
say, when you emailed me, you were like, do we need to meet every month?
Yeah.
I said, no, let's meet.
Yes, and a lot of that had to do with, we're worried about this administrative, and if we're taking up too much time and then we get charged for it, like, I want to get us to get used to less meetings.
Sorry, Billy, November what? Sorry.
19th.
So, yeah, let's just be strategic about the next 3 meetings. This is kind of just us getting organized, and then the next 3 is all we got. So, May 14th, what do you need us for there? What is that before?
Well, it's the week before you do your planters and Jen has all of that starting.
Okay.
So Decky doesn't have any specific events, but we're working closely with, other groups. So our big events are August, September, and we just had ours, obviously.
Yes.
But we will be starting, sidewalk Saturday, first Fridays and sidewalk Saturdays, starting in May.
So
And
maybe that's something that we can fly
Well,
around.
yeah, so this will be after the first one. We can talk about this in the Decky update unless you want to talk about it now. I really don't know. But the concept needs to get out to businesses, and so this is where outreach would come in handy. So, right now, Matt and I are working on our meat raffle, and then the next events are partnership events. So we've got Barstow Street Block Party that will happen during the marathon.
Okay.
So that's on the
Oh,
Sunday,
maybe when's the marathon? The 20?
April 27th. It's
Oh,
a
that's already gonna
Sunday.
happen. Okay, okay.
So every year we've had the Barstow Street Block Party. It's about 3 miles before the end of the race. But this year, Marathon wants us to engage Decky in a bigger way. So doing some more programming within that stretch of South Barstow, whether it's like, things that kids can make, signs or whatever. So getting the businesses to come out like you do at Art Box, get dressed up, have, whether it's a theme, maybe we have a contest of who can cheer loudest or who has the best signs or whatever, but to really engage that last section of South Barstow for the runners. And then, so that's
I
something.
got a whole idea for marathon.
But what would help me is like, I can send the emails out, but where it really takes is once that email goes out for businesses to register and sign up and say they do something, it's going in to the business and being like, hey,
Okay.
Art Box is getting dressed up. Tangled Up and Hugh's got
So we
Team
can't-
Tangled coming out with the megaphone.
We're not gonna be able to do anything before marathon though.
Well-
Because our next meeting isn't until May.
Well, you would have to do it in between.
So we'd have to do that on our own timer.
Well, no, I think
That's
Decky
fine.
would
If
just
Decky
kind of
makes
provide
the
information.
flyer-
I'm just asking you to walk
Yeah,
around.
I'm fine with dividing and conquering. You get the north side of the street, I get the south side, or you get everything from Maine down and I get everything from Maine up and we can just do it on our own. I'm totally.
Yeah,
fine with
and
that.
keep in mind, we also have, other than downtown cleanup, we also have Jazz Crawl, April 12th. That's
Yeah.
like a
It's
month
gonna be
away.
Huge right now.
And that is another thing that I'm meeting with Quentin today. So if there's anything that comes out of that meeting, I'll let you know. But again, he really wants to engage the non-venue businesses because that's kind of a complaint they've had in the past.
Yeah, they're like excluded from knowing what's going on.
Not knowing what's going on and knowing how to bring customers that are coming down for Jazz Crawl into their space if they don't have music going on. So what are the ways they can engage? So again, we can, talk about this.
So
Other
let's like circle back to Decky update, because I just want to talk about our.
Well, I was
next
just
3
trying to tell you
meetings.
the things that are coming
Yeah,
up in South
yep.
Barstow.
Nope, it's good. But for May, what do you want us to do something with sidewalk Saturdays?
Well, so it's already have started.
Yeah.
That's kind of the
we would've
problem.
started.
It's more like letting, again, so first Fridays will be the first Friday of every month, May through October.
Mhm.
And first Fridays, we'll have a sidewalk enrichment, so that businesses can use the sidewalk for any, they can sell things, displays, they could do, some sort of fun activity, like maybe we could do our screen printing pop-up outside, whatever. So it's a way to engage the street, but in addition, Decky is going to be programming 4 organized busking events where we'll have musicians throughout the downtown districts, that we pay and then promote.
And that's meant to be like a 4 p.m. start time?
I think we're gonna do one earlier one, so
Okay.
1 4 to 6 and then 5 to 7, for the other ones, or we'll stage it 4 to 6, 5 to 7.
Do you
6 to 8.
have like this info that you can get us or like a flyer made up?
Yep, it's all on the Decky website.
Okay.
We're still, so we did this last year. We got the encroachment. We just didn't have the
No,
capacity
we
to get
tried.
out and
Yeah.
do it. The biggest component of this is engaging businesses and getting them to see the value of it.
Yeah.
Cause we hear conversations about like, I'm already busy. I don't want to do anything extra, but we still need to get people in our space. What this does, and you can speak to this probably better than I can, is it activates the street and it makes people see things going on. And then they expect that there's something always going on downtown.
Yeah.
So the first Friday would be an encouragement for businesses to do something extra, stay open a little later. They also can use the sidewalk. We'll have the busking events going on. And then the sidewalk Saturdays is every single Saturday from May through October, where businesses are able to use that sidewalk in front of their space for programming. So again, the concept is once we do it, and if enough businesses do it, we're visually down the street, you can see it.
Yeah.
It feels like something's happening, and that's where people are spending their.
Yeah.
What is this, just May to July? Is that what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, May to
May to-
October.
Oh.
So-
May to October.
So, Aaron, do you think that it would be possible for, Matt, I know you guys are so busy, but for Matt to maybe turn out a quick flyer that is
We have-
business geared?
yeah.
You have the flyer already that covers both First Fridays and Sidewalk Saturdays that we
Yeah.
can, and maybe a QR code that
Yep.
leads them back to the page on your website.
Yep.
And I
So
know
that-
it will have already started, but I think that's still something we can do at the next meeting, like almost
Well,
wholly.
I think
We could do it beforehand too.
Yeah,
but-
like I said.
Get
if
information
we-
out.
Yeah, like we get the information out before the
Yeah.
next meeting. So if that means that we just set up a time with.
I know we were
Aaron
gonna
or
do
Matt
jazz and Mary.
If we just set up a
I
time.
think you should do all 3. Like, this is what's happening.
Yeah, so if we can
I
set up a time where we can like get the flyers, even if we're doing that individually,
Sure.
you and I can decide, you're at Art Fox, I'm at Coven, so we kind of divide Barstow Street, South Barstow.
Mhm.
And we just commit to getting businesses on either side, maybe not just on Barstow, but
Yeah.
also on Graham. And
Give us the deadline of when you want it all out. Give us the deadline of when you're gonna get us flyers.
I mean, I think as soon as we get the flyer, we probably want to get all of this out by the middle of April so
Yep.
that people can plan. And I would say middle of April at the very latest.
So the other piece of this, I think that makes sense is, if we can refer these businesses to check out the Decky website, because we're gonna have to be adding things, like, we know there's, a race across Wisconsin that's coming to Eau Claire this date, so that they're using the Decky website as a business resource so that they know when to plan for things.
Yeah.
There's a
I mean-
715 day coming up,
We use it for that all the time.
Yeah.
I hope everybody is.
Yeah.
Because it's where you can get a really comprehensive list of what's happening.
Mhm.
So I think it's specifically speaking to these things that are happening on Barstow before your May meeting makes
Yeah.
sense, but then if we can have something that's just like, know that this is a resource to you. And then
Yeah.
again, if you guys are walking around, you should probably have the ambassador phone number.
Yes,
Yeah, so
absolutely.
it's kind of like an all-in-one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Matt and I will make something up that's more, that kind of covers all of this.
That's great.
Got it.
I do think it would be beneficial to have sorry, I know paper is annoying and having too many.
I know.
But I think it would be beneficial to have a separate one that is just Sidewalk Saturday and First Friday.
Sure.
Because I
I
really want us to target this event because it's something new. We all know what marathon is. And I know we're trying to be more engaged with all of those existing events, but I really think something very specific to really drum, and maybe it even has ideas of what you could
Yeah.
do, like just get people really excited about
Yeah.
First Fridays and Sidewalk Saturdays, because it is amazing once it starts happening.
Yeah.
I've been in communities that have done it. It is so much fun.
It is fun. And
Yeah.
again, what we're trying to do is set up the thought in people's head that they don't have to think about what to do
Right.
and they have nothing going, then they just go downtown because there's something happening.
Right.
And they come to South.
But if we start promoting it and nobody does anything.
Right.
It's gonna be, so I really want us to put a lot of energy and effort into.
Great. Can't wait
This,
to work with you.
yeah, just getting it like out and excited and like whatever. So
Yes, we'll
I
do
would
that.
ask for a separate.
And we pretty much have it. It would be kind of putting it on a paper to print out.
Okay,
So,
perfect.
No, I think it's really,
I know.
logos.
I honestly, I find it really annoying to see too many events listed.
I know, that's
online.
what oh, yeah, that's
I
true.
like separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's preference. Some people are like, don't give me 1,000 pieces of paper.
Oh my God,
It's
no.
fucking
It's
annoying.
better.
Some people are like, oh, I want to see it separate
Quick
so that when this is
information.
done, I can
Yeah.
throw it away. And then, so I get both sides.
And then, so we'll have, so we can hit that sidewalk Saturdays again, that next meeting. September, will obviously Fall Fest. You can lean on us for getting information.
Fall
about
Fest
Fall
and
Fest.
we'll always want to talk about trick or treat.
That'll be at the next one.
Well, that's after trick or treat. So we'll want to talk about it at September. I love you.
No, you just run it. I don't know.
Small Business Saturday would be this
Yeah.
one, and I like a holiday. And so just so you know too, we're gonna combine forces with Volume One. We're moving our not Small Business Saturday, will be Small Business Saturday. Becky wants to be within the businesses, doing promotions, kind of popping around this year versus having another event we have to kind of compete with. So we're gonna move Haymarket Holiday to the weekend, the first weekend in December. So it'll be right the Saturday after the parade. And that's when Santa Rampage goes through downtown with Volume One. So we'll just do a bigger, better holiday event.
And downtown trick or treating is going to be on the 25th this year.
Yep, it's always,
So-
even if
Saturday before
before,
Halloween.
it will
Take a
never be a
picture of
November
that.
date.
Never going to look at a picture. I'm going to go on the Decky website and fill this
You do
out.
have this on there.
Mhm.
Okay.
Something like that, yeah.
Um,
And we're
So,
gonna
yeah.
do it the same time and everything.
okay, so I think it's safe to say that like outreach committee is now gonna be just a driving force to help you guys out with flyering and getting in our businesses.
Well, I would say
That's gonna be like
branding South Barstow
our main
District,
focus is.
and then making sure people are aware of what's going on in downtown and specifically South
Yeah.
Barstow, so they're prepared.
Yeah,
And I do just want to say, like, I am going to hit up some businesses in North Barstow about the busking with that, about
Yeah.
first part, because
I wanna
nobody
have one in
knows
front of Jill. Yeah.
Barstow ends. Well, Joe's
Oh,
technically
she's
in
South
South
Barstow, yeah.
Barstow, but Leona's is right there, you know. I just think that we could, like, nobody knows where South, like, the general public, actually, even some bid members don't know where South End ends. So I do think it's important to just, even though we're South Barstow, let's make sure that we're including
Yeah.
some of North Barstow in some of our outreach efforts,
Yeah.
because it's kind of almost silly that we're on separate.
Yeah.
I think every
all one
time I've
strip
ever
of-
passed out
Yeah.
flyers, I've always.
Obviously,
seen it.
Raggedy Man, you know, we've got Kate at the end. I
Well-
think Kate almost like ends right at Eau Claire Outdoors where we would probably.
Yeah, so Kate
have that
Felton
activity.
did reach out to me from Jill's event.
Yeah.
And was like, I really think that would be great to have Becky have a subcommittee that does these things.
Yeah,
But I think what we could do through the bids as combined forces kind of on that, she wants to work on the same exact thing, and maybe she can be the head of the North Barstow. Now, keep in mind, North Barstow is only like 3 blocks and then it goes all the way to the west.
Yeah, that's why it's
Yeah.
like,
Their district is very different.
Yeah.
Past the Barstow.
yeah,
Street.
yeah.
But you,
It
yeah, that
almost
makes
feels
sense.
silly that
Well,
they're not part of our district.
Yeah. Talk to Julia.
I have.
And if you guys want, I can make a map that has just the downtown and says like, Barstow area, and then maybe put less subtle lines around each
Yeah.
Oh,
district
yeah.
to kind of show it, even though
I've
Not
got like
call it-
so many maps,
I
but
think
it's so
Right.
weird.
Do you guys have one hanging in your
I
office
was
that
just
has all
gonna
the
say,
different
we
bits?
just recreated one.
yeah,
so-
we
okay.
have something
Oh,
for
okay.
the ambassador,
Yeah.
but
Oh, yeah, the
Oh, yeah.
master
Oh,
map.
yeah.
but
that
not
would be
call it
helpful.
like districts, so it
Yeah.
doesn't take away that whole end,
Yeah.
but it just kind of puts a focus
Oh,
on.
that's cool.
East of the river downtown.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and then I'm guessing the ambassadors don't go north of Madison.
Not
Is
north
that
of
the-
Madison, then they go down to the park.
It's pretty much
Wilson.
both, if
Yeah,
you
that
would
makes sense.
envision the
Yeah.
downtown.
Yeah.
Yep, river to Dewey.
Yeah, sure. Okay, cool.
Mhm. The other side of it, being able to flyer or get information out about, I don't know, I just think flyering is the only way that, I'm a small business. I don't really appreciate emails. You know, I'd rather have somebody come in my door and let me know what's going on.
Yeah, again,
so
I think it's all
We lose,
preferential.
yeah.
I'm also like, I don't want someone to fucking cold call me and walk in the door while I'm in the middle of working. Everybody's different, so I think we need to hit it, and as we get to know or already know a lot of these business owners, we know, like, for certain people, hey, you're just gonna pick up the phone and call them or text them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that we're gonna really.
But
start
I
to
think
get to
you
know
guys
these
are already
folks really
doing
well.
the emailing, so.
Yeah, but if
We're
we could have
talking
help with
specifically
the
about-
in business, because it will take Matt a full day to do that.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of,
Absolutely.
yeah, time.
Absolutely.
Right, so it'd be our job to be more physical.
That'd be great. Well, and it's good for you again. people know you know the.
But I
access
want
to
to,
you.
I want to talk about the, like,
Because you know, we're trying to
the
get our steps in.
construction side of things, getting information like that out.
Yeah, that would be helpful too.
Do we have, do we have a CIP
Jennifer-
yet from Leah?
I think we shared, the projects in your, it was in the South Barstow
Mhm.
meeting. We could have Leah come in and give more details on the project.
I don't think we need that. I think
don't
what
know.
would be helpful is to maybe just, because we don't need to take up meeting time with it. She did already
True.
come in, but we probably didn't
Yeah.
take diligent notes. If she kind of just has like a rough timeline or summary of each project, it can
Right.
be emailed out. I think we
I
can
mean,
get
because
the
it's,
email.
I don't know, I mean, it's potential, like, they've approved this parking study, like, we might get paid on street parking this year, like, that
Okay.
might.
I really want you to just make sure that we're talking about, they accepted the fact that there was a study. They have done nothing with
Yeah.
any detail.
Oh, I know,
Oh, I just
I-
want to make sure you're discerning.
yeah, girl, I
Okay,
know.
Okay, I didn't hear that.
But I also asked, is it possible it could happen this year? Nobody.
Right, that's true.
Sure.
But it still
So
has
I'm
to
just-
come to city council before.
But I'm just
And we
saying,
will all know.
as far as large things like
Yeah.
that, I think it is important that we.
The construction update
Yeah.
that comes out, is it Jennifer Bergs or something? You can get on an
There's-
email list, I just think.
Yeah, there's a website that they put their CIP projects on.
Yeah,
Leah sent me one that was things that would directly impact South Barstow, and
Sure.
I shared those at the last South Barstow meeting.
Yeah.
But I can get it more detailed with intended dates
Yeah.
and what exactly the projects are.
and then there's like a weekly email that goes out about all construction projects, or not construct,
Right.
street closers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, getting on
Yeah,
that
that
list,
would be
Nikki, would be helpful.
Jenny.
Jenny Burke, okay. And I get those, so I can always forward them to you, or I think the public can sign up to get notices. I feel like there's somewhere.
Yeah, if you search, I think it's, if
'Cause
you
you can, like,
Google
turn on
public,
certain ones
Eau
and
Claire public notices, it'll take you to this page and there's, 20, 30 different things you can
So
get.
you can kind of be like, I do want to hear about this, I don't want to hear about that. Okay.
And the major ones, Stephanie typically involves in her newsletter if it's shared with her. So, but I think engineering's pretty good with sharing that kind of stuff with her.
And so there's nothing happening with the Gibson Street ramp this year that we know?
I'll double check. I don't think it's happening this year. Well, Dave's on here. Dave?
For, with the Gibson Street ramp, nothing really planned
Yeah.
this year. Next year, there's money allocated to start the demolition plans for it because it's so complex. And I believe right now it's in the program for 2027 to start coming down and work on design going up. And then I believe in 2028 is when a new structure, the earliest, would be built. And I was
Just so
just
you
gonna-
know, Dave, it was shared in the previous meeting, Mogensen's lots for sale for, was it 2.4 or
2 million?
2.7 million?
Okay,
Yeah.
so you raised it again.
So just so you're aware, if you want to grab that up.
I just want to make sure my laughing is notated in the minute.
Okay, I'll probably not put a CIP request in for that, but, I was just gonna say with the parking study, the first thing, so Aaron and Nikki are correct. Nothing started on that yet, but the first step in that, I'm going to the Water Street bid, tomorrow, just to kind of go over a time frame. And if we did have paid parking, the earliest it would likely take effect would be January 1st of next year with the new budget. But the council could say, well, let's wait until spring, or let's wait until school is out in May, or they could say January. But anything with a financial component wouldn't be anticipated to take effect until into 2026 for that. But I do have to start getting meetings together kind of in a parallel path with our trash discussions. And then council would vote on it probably in May or June is what they would look at voting on stuff.
Dave, do you know anything more about, like the Riverside ramp, if that demo is happening before or after Gibson?
So we have gotten a proposal from a developer for that. So that's it. Actually, the Riverside ramp is in worse shape than Gibson. There's parts of it that fall on cars. So we got a proposal and it's being evaluated both by the developer and internally to take the top deck off of that, put condos or townhouses on top of it, and then keep the parking underneath it for the permit holders for the Graham Riverside building. It's just in a concept stage, so I don't know if it'll actually come to fruition or not, but it's that's the latest that I've heard. Otherwise, that's on a similar time frame, sometime in the next year or two. Something will have to be looked at just safety wise.
What did you?
I said I can't use a pencil on that.
Oh.
I'm gonna need a pen.
Oh.
Is it a pen? Yeah, pencil or something.
And then I think the only other, I guess, question I would have would be Schlegel mulch. Is that gonna be kind of another thing, another year or two out if they do anything with that development?
And we
Yeah.
don't have any we don't have any current proposals.
Okay,
So, the one that was considering LIHTC, some things didn't work out right now for them. So LIHTC awards don't start again applying till fall and stuff. And we don't know what kind of funding will be available for those kind of projects. So, at this point, there's nothing out there planned. Sorry, Dave, didn't mean to jump in, but
No, that's absolutely correct. And I would just say that with the process for that, if we did have somebody approach us, there would be the first sign would be, well, obviously, we could give the businesses a heads up through Aaron Klaus, or just through Billy's email to the bids, but it would have to be declared excess property from the city. So that doesn't change its use. It just says that it's available to be sold. So the council has to do that. Then the next step is to actually have a sale agreement to the outside party that would want it. So there would be two council steps that would happen before it would go away. But I think that the number of people that came out when the parking study was presented and showed their support for keeping that as parking in the downtown area, or at least keeping, perhaps half of it as parking if the other half is developed, wasn't lost on the council. They definitely see the importance in that. So.
well, yeah, I think it's just, I just want to note that Schlegel mulch, Gibson and Riverside are going to be detrimental as to how they come down and what happens to them. So those are like three ones that I kind of always try to keep eyes on. So if anything does happen, keep us updated.
It's my goal to make sure that there aren't any more parking surprises with you guys. So
that'd be lovely. Thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Okay, so here's the other side of because we're still kind of lingering on that 2025 plan. We have money in our budget.
What?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
Throw a party.
I was just gonna say, throw a party.
We literally could have
Pay some musicians.
a little block party, couldn't we?
I want to throw a party in Morganson Flat now. Every weekend.
Do we know what we have sitting in our budget? Is it like 3,000 or something?
It's at least 15. I think that's 3.
I thought it was 3. I think we upped it with this idea that the baskets are so great and wonderful, and then they were just kind of tough. So,
you could still do baskets. I would just stay away from gift cards.
Deck,
Is
you would
that
still have to
something-
purchase the stuff, right?
oh yeah, city can purchase. Right.
Well, we have a check card. That's the hard part.
What do you think about that, though?
So
I
if we
mean,
do baskets, what would we do? Because I love the idea of like supporting the local, like gifting their gift cards to new businesses.
Mhm.
So what would we do? What can we do?
Or buy products from them to put in it.
Okay, so it just can't be a gift card?
Right, because the gift card's considered cash. So
Okay.
there has to be specific tracking for it to make
Okay.
sure, not saying you guys didn't go buy them, saying you put them in there and then you're out spending them.
We absolutely did.
so can we like,
Yep.
can we like fully change gears and look at spending this money in a way of like, I don't know, like wayfinding? Like we put up not a kiosk like
Branding.
North, but like some sort of like event kiosk, little one. But I don't know. Do we want to spend our money that way instead?
I don't know. I would want to think on that.
Yeah, I mean, so food for thought. We don't have to
Yeah,
make any
something
decisions on
definitely
it,
think
but
about.
we
I think
have
can
money and we
still
can use it.
knowing that like, okay, it can still be a gift basket. We just have to, it just can't, we could still
Like a
support
plant and a thing. of
local down.
popcorn.
Yeah, like I think that that's cute. I think there's still ways for us to do it because I do know that the people who received them,
They really appreciate
it was so cool. It really was. It was like a very nice thing to do. People felt very like
Mhm.
welcome. So I do think we should still do something. And we'll just figure out, I do think a plant is a really cute idea, and then I think we could potentially do, you know, like we have so many businesses that sell fucking candles downtown. They just get candles from different, like, and everybody loves a candle.
I know one
I know
business.
one. I know about 15.
I didn't know that.
But your patchouli hamper candles are my favorite. I have them all over my house. So there's just different places where we could go and maybe spend some of that without it being a gift card. I know gift cards are nice because then people can spend them however they want, and it's
Right.
hard to
Well,
then
it gets you
engage-
in a business.
and it's hard to engage like the food and beverage businesses in a different way.
Mhm.
But we can still figure out.
Yep.
So here's what I think we have to
Yeah.
do. Let's come to the table our next meeting, because we have so few meetings.
Oh, wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Yeah.
Coupons. Would a coupon count, like, would a
That'd be like a
coupon
gift card.
count as a gift card?
It would
It
be,
would be,
it would be
okay.
the same, yeah.
So I'm just trying to think of how we can like promote the food and beverage businesses, because that's a hard one.
Can they donate things to put in the basket?
They could. Another suggestion with
Yeah.
I don't know if it'd fit in the budget, but maybe I have the temporary agreement for South Barstow ready to send over to Aaron today at your next board meeting. If you add money for Aaron to do the gift cards,
And donate them.
then we can add that into the agreement.
Designate
And
that we
then,
do it.
and then let me double check. I
Yeah.
don't think we would need, because you guys it'd be kind of like the North Barstow.
So we almost say like,
thing.
we're gonna pay Decky to create and procure these gift baskets.
Yeah.
That's a service that
Don't want
Decky is gonna
to
do
give
for
work
us.
to you, but.
Well, no, that's
that
kind of
would
what
be
we
a
did
way
last year.
kinda-
Yeah.
We
that
just
sounds
weren't
great.
able
So
to
that's
get.
kind of a way around it. Well,
Yeah,
then let's just let's wait and see what happens. We're not gonna do them until the summer anyway.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens, but if we could do it that way, Billy, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. I think our next meeting, let's come to the table with ideas, whether we want to do baskets or this or that or whatever with our funds.
Great, I love that.
We make a decision and we'll action item it out, and then, and then we'll just have to make it happen by
Okay,
September, which is gonna be good timing.
yeah, that's perfect. Okay.
Yep.
Great.
Okay, I think that's it for a 2025 plan. We're just kind of refocusing. I did want to talk about, and I talked to Graham actually about this, because he's the one doing your business listing.
Yeah.
And I said because I know you guys he's pretty much focused on Decky members and building the business listing starting there. Obviously, he's gonna branch out, it seems
Well,
like.
So he's actually at a meeting right now at the chamber, where we're
Oh, yeah, he told me about
along
this.
with Matt.
Yes.
So the chamber, VEC, and Decky are looking at consolidating some of the work we do. We don't want to be replicating things that already
Mhm.
done. So Visit Eau Claire has this information, right? They have the business listing.
Right.
We want to take a portion of that and put it on our website.
Mhm.
It gets tricky for Decky because if we're showcasing businesses that aren't members, like what's the point of being a member?
Right.
But we will have listings for each bid as well. So they'll be on the bid page, we can have those listings. The biggest
Yeah.
problem is that businesses come and go and change so quickly that it is an incredible amount of upkeep.
Mhm.
And even on the Visit Eau Claire end, that's what we're finding when, and them too,
Yeah.
they're not aware of like who's coming and going. So we've been strategizing for at least 2 years on how to do this. My next step is to reach out to the fire department and see if there's a way we can get, a record of which businesses have had, fire inspections, because that has to be done more than once a year.
Mhm.
And then and they have a business name and a contact. One of the issues is it does go to the landlord, so you.
I was just gonna say.
But the
yeah,
address is different, like they'll come to Tangled Up in Hugh, or Tangled Up in Hugh will be there, the address is there, we sign up, and it will go to John Hoganson. But at least that would give us a more accurate way of knowing
Yes,
in real
right,
time, like
anyway.
who's here.
Yeah.
But again, there's conversations happening like right now, at the chamber about like how we best do this.
Mhm.
So the Decky member listing will be the first one he's building out, but we are working we have the database from Visto Claire.
Right.
So what I've done, and it's very time consuming, is we take that whole database and then we sort by street. And then we categorize the streets by bid. And then we have to go through and actually contact these people to see if that's true, or like I'll pull up a Google map and make sure that like I'm seeing that. So it's time consuming. So that is getting work done. So two separate things will be the Decky member listing, and then there will be the bid business listings.
Cool.
And again, in the meantime, Visit Eau Claire is the place
Okay.
to.
If the fire inspections just list the owner of the building, I can pull that up in GIS and I can check and see if our assessing data, it's updated. I don't want to say how often, I'll have to check. But if they list the
Yeah, property
business
tax goes
that's
to all the
in there,
businesses.
Well, the personal property tax
Or
used to, but
personal tax, yeah.
that's done now. They
Oh,
don't
it
do
is?
that anymore. You don't have, no, it's great, believe me, because that form is very
Wow.
confusing to fill out
I
every
know,
year.
I know.
But yeah, if you had a way that we could, again, and narrow it down to downtown.
Mhm.
The biggest problem is that, you know, if I had to go through John to get, which I could go through Investment Realty, be like,
Mhm.
hey, who runs in the downtown? But I do think on those, just because I filled them out, the fire reports, I think they have you put your name and your email for the business that it happened at, because we always get a copy of the report. And then if there's any problems, John has to be the one to like
Yeah.
ensure that
and
it's.
for that, you could just do a FOIA request and get all
That's
that
what I was wondering
information.
too.
Just list the addresses you
Okay.
want it for.
Mhm.
Addresses, or can we do like a bound, like could we do a,
Yeah, you just
GIS
give them
type.
like a map of.
Okay, that would be
all the
amazing.
business. That should work.
I know it's like a long-term plan, but I was telling Graham, the reason I was so heavy on wanting to get a business listing is mostly for these situations coming up with like construction, you know, being
Yeah.
able to like say, hey, 400, 500 block of Barstow, like this is happening
Yeah.
in front of your doors.
Right.
Instead of blasting it out to all of downtown, you
Yeah.
specifically zone out, you know,
Yeah,
what's happening.
totally.
I think that'd be great.
Well, and it just gives us a better handle of like the types of businesses we have, and that those are things that we need to know. Like,
Mhm.
you know, we have a grocery store downtown. We have,
Right.
yeah. So this is
Love
gonna
it.
take time to build out our website. It's something we want to work on, but again, you know, we have a very part-time
Yeah.
contractor working on it. So,
Yep.
but it is a goal of ours.
Is there anything else like we can do? Or should we wait till this meeting kind of happens?
I mean, the only thing is if you're going
such a
out,
focus for us last year.
if you're going out and you're handing out flyers, grabbing a business card so that we can kind of cross-reference, because again, emails change fast, phone numbers change fast, businesses change fast.
Right.
And then in a lot of your office spaces, even like the Opera House building that's changing out, and Wisconsin Maker Market is going there. She's
Oh, really?
subletting to a bunch of like micro businesses, so you're gonna have maybe 5 or 6
I'll
new
use Blue Eye.
in there. And so knowing that is really important, or,
Right.
you know, cause there's a lot of businesses like internally that we're not
Right.
hitting, like we know the ones with the sign on
Agreed.
street, but.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So as we go out, we can just grab business cards and, you know, just throw them at you. Okay. I think that's it. I put action required. I don't think we have an action. I think we just needed to talk this out and figure out a plan.
So
Street ambassador.
Did you set things for each month, or was that the goal and then it went?
Kind of
other
roughly.
ways?
Kind of
Okay.
roughly.
I don't
Yeah.
know that I necessarily caught them all, so.
I
if
just
you
have
wanna-
for, the May 14th one, we're gonna probably focus a lot on sidewalk Saturdays versus Fridays. We're gonna do that
And the
before as well.
baskets, right, and the outreach back.
Yep, and then we'll make a decision on spending our money at that meeting. Whether we do baskets or, I think like we don't have one on our end,
But,
like we have acoustic, like a message board.
right, so
I mean, there's one by Riverside, but that's getting tore down and nobody looks at that one anyway.
we don't know that. Jackie's been doing surveys, and when we see why people come to events, weirdly, physical posters have
I
been
know,
one of the
that's
higher
what I'm
things.
saying.
But I think that's within businesses, like when you watch,
Mhm.
although I saw that meat raffle one from like 2 miles away today, like, oh my god. But we
I
have
did
the
see
kiosk
that.
at the Four Corners. That is your primary one, and that's the most
Yeah.
as
No, I
well.
know.
We have
I
one in
think that-
Lismore.
I think that one is very visible too.
Yeah.
You have a lot of.
I'm
people that-
saying our end, like
South.
south side.
Yeah, you guys could, that's probably a capital improvement type project.
That's what I'm saying, yeah,
You could
yeah.
invest in. I wouldn't highly suggest the digital kiosk at this point.
I think not.
It's just a very expensive project, but you could probably get a kiosk
Yeah.
That would be a full year project to figure out spending, get approval, permits, and,
Yeah,
but that's definitely something you could do.
something to look into. I just, yeah, it's, our end just feels, I mean, I know we've got, acoustic is great at putting up posters, but you have to physically walk in that door to.
Yeah.
To see them, so, I don't know, just, that's always been a thought.
Wilson Park.
Mhm. Oh, and then,
September
September
3rd,
3rd will
trick or
be
treat.
trick or
Trick or
treat
treat
fall
fall
fest.
fest.
Sure.
And then, yeah, potentially distributing out the baskets at that point or whatever.
Small Business Saturday and
Market holiday.
holiday season, I would say.
Yep. Yeah, I am thrilled to know there's no construction happening this year. Remember that CIP, there's a 2024 to 2026 CIP, and there was so much happening.
I mean, there's a lot
Like in
happening.
2025.
You guys are gonna be
It's all
invited
getting pushed out a little bit,
by
but
the Birch Street project though. With,
Small business Saturday.
Birch Street will be, it was just voted on last night. They're redoing a large section of that, and that is artery into the downtown. So Birch Street will impact your bid, but it's,
Mhm.
you know,
There was a
One-
couple of about last time that arteries in the downtown. I don't remember. I don't know if Dave remembers off the top of his head.
Well, there's probably a big one that should be an improvement for the bids. Is in this year's budget, Stephanie included $1 million to convert Farwell Street from 4 lanes to 2 lanes, and then to try to put parking back on it, possibly have bike lanes. Right now, it's anywhere from 4 to 5 lanes through there. So Leah's looking at that, and I don't know that it's going to go this year, but it would go next year. But that'll be something to definitely engage with the bids on and get your feedback. But the goal is to have parking available on Farwell Street.
amazing. So,
That's the old Farwell diet they talked about.
yeah, but we
Yes,
didn't
yep.
get the grant that they were hoping for. So is that, are there other, who knows what's going on with grants? Are you seeking other grant opportunities for that?
Is
Yeah,
Stephanie put it in the CIP?
Yeah, the grant. So Stephanie put dollars in there because we weren't going to we're going to keep the pavement out there and basically just change the either, patch the cracks that are in the pavement and potholes, and then change the pavement marking for it. So the $1 million wouldn't reconstruct the whole road on it. So Leah applied for a grant to do a traffic study to see which intersections will still need traffic signals, turn lanes, stuff like that. And if we don't get a grant for that, there's other funds that she can use to get somebody on board to do that with. But it'll take them a while to do the traffic counts and do the analysis and get her that information.
There's it's not a lot of money, but I think there's an AARP grant right now available for communities looking to make commutes and walking easier for people 50 and older. And we have a large portion of those people who live downtown. It's only $25,000, but it is something that could help, especially if it's not construction. It's just like, reconfiguring and painting lines, just throwing it out there.
Another one that is going to go this year that I don't know if you guys were aware of, in North Barstow, in the TID area that did Phoenix Park. This is the last year that we can make expenditures out of it. So they're going to be fixing cracks in the concrete pavement. They're going to be fixing some of the pavement on Madison Street, and then redoing the pavers, the original aesthetics of North Barstow before the businesses started redeveloping were very nice, and now it's kind of patchwork. There's some pavers, there's some poured concrete. The intent is to get it back to get the aesthetics back to the original aesthetics that was there 10, 15 years ago. So it's not going to be like shutting down the street, but it's going to be more nuisance construction going on in that area. So just a heads up.
Are they doing pavers or are they moving to stamped concrete? I thought I heard the stamped concrete was safer and lasted longer and was cheaper. And it looks great.
The
The
last I heard, they were looking for the suppliers of the original pavers, and they wanted to try to get that. And the pavers in South Barstow are more durable than the ones in North Barstow because of the way they constructed. They put concrete down underneath the pavers, and in North Barstow, I don't believe they did, which is why they vary a little bit more. So if they went with the South Barstow construction, they should stay pretty straight and true with it.
I do like the look of the pavers. Okay, good to know.
Sure, I love getting to
On
play
your
engineer.
chair.
Okay, cool. Well, let's see. Let's move along. Agenda item 4, street ambassadors. Yeah, I did ask them to come to full board, so they're not here to meet with us, but I just have to say, I've been really excited about this
I'm
program.
foolishly excited every time
Yeah.
I see them. I'm like, oh my God, hello.
I know, and we talked about this like years ago, and it's just like really cool it's here. It's just really positive, but, you know, like our business alone, I'm on the second floor, so I don't like face to face with them, but they've already been in like twice, and they dropped
Yeah.
off little flyers that we can put by our phones, and it's been really nice.
I can see them out the cup and window and
Yeah.
I'm like,
I know, I
thank
know.
you.
What's the feedback in their first week?
I haven't necessarily received a lot of feedback from businesses or residents. I have gotten a few saying, you know, just seeing it on the news, stuff like that, this is a great idea. Not really any negative that's come back.
Good.
I did go out with them one time when they were meeting businesses and took some pictures for Stephanie's newsletter.
Cool.
Everybody except one person was excited. The one person wasn't like against it, but they were just instead of having a 5-10 minute conversation, they were like, oh, okay, thanks.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know, so,
Always
but,
that one person.
but everybody else was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. This is great. I can't wait. And, you know, Stephanie, the main person, you know, because she didn't have her business cards yet. I had told one person that their contact information would be in Stephanie's newsletter and how to get to it. So every other business she went into, and she's like, and there'll be something in the city manager's newsletter which you can sign up for online. And so it was really cool. But there was just so much excitement.
Well, you know, and
about
it's really
it.
silly. I've been telling all my clients about it, and I'm like, don't, you know, some people are like, oh, so what's that going to cost? And I'm like, don't worry about it. It's not coming out of any public dollars. Like, we'll worry about that in a couple of years. But that's been the only negative side is like,
Well,
where's
everybody
this
worries
money
about
coming
that.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's
But
such a
that
good
is the
thing.
only thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think once we get to see the benefit of this.
Well, even
in the
Angela
next couple of
saying
years.
that she's looked at graffiti for 2 years, and it's now fixed.
Yeah,
Yeah, we need time for people to go. I was out on Saturday, I had an event down at Shift and I had to walk my screen printing equipment down the block and I passed them. And so seeing them on a Saturday was welcoming.
Oh, yeah.
It was just, yeah, it's just, and again, I know what's going on, but I think if I didn't, I saw them walking up, they looked helpful. You know, I could have had them help me push my thing down, but I told them like fun event going on in case you were talking to people. So, they're more than just, you know, supporting the unhoused need of that is something that people are, I mean, they are really here to welcome people to our downtown and
or if we
support it.
couldn't have them do like on, I don't know, some of your busking events, like have them sit out like a booth.
Yeah,
And just
yeah.
like have information, like, hey, if you see us in these shirts, this is who we are and what we're doing.
Nice.
You know, get their word out.
I think they have 3 people now, the manager and 2 people that'll be primarily focused on cleaning. They just hired a part-time person that works with CC We Adapt to be outreach.
Oh, cool.
So they'll have that person for outreach to start working more with our unsheltered community. So that would leave 1.5 more people for outreach. So, and I don't know this person once they start doing it, if they might decide to go full time or.
And then Stephanie is
what?
the manager who's overseeing all of it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. The local.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Amazing.
I know it's only been a week and I know the weather hasn't turned, but it's like quiet downtown. I
Well,
mean,
except for the
it's-
garbage and fires.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
getting a
But like
little,
Wilson's getting, like, it's been a little
getting a little
quiet.
springish towards the,
To Turner.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Kevin and Lucas and I have been chatting. We have meetings twice a month anyhow to
Sure.
talk about any concerns that may be coming
Sure.
from either side.
Yeah.
So we've already been talking about spring behaviors and what can we do to get ahead of
We had a
them.
streaker a couple
Um,
weeks ago.
Oh,
What?
I was at the Y and I was coming out and the cop drove by and he's like, hey, did you hear screaming out here? And I was like, no, I just got out. And I kept, on my way home, I kept telling him to circle. I'm like, there must be something more than just screaming. And then on the news thing, my friend follows and she texts, she's like, there's a streaker downtown. It was by the Y. And then I think they got him by Clancy. So
Streaker.
Yeah.
Wow. I haven't heard that word in years. All right, cool. Well, yeah, all positive. I'm super supportive of it. We're gonna meet him at our next full board, so yay, yay. The Day Resource Center update.
Nothing yet.
Yeah,
Nothing?
we put it on there in case there was a announcement. There hasn't been one yet.
Is it still potentially happening?
It
Okay,
is,
good.
it is.
That's the biggest part.
Yeah, so I had talked to Anna after all the concern with the federal funding cuts and stuff, and her board asked her what her thoughts on it was and stuff, and she's like, this isn't something we get federal funding for, this is something we're raising through the community and stuff, so this is something we should absolutely move forward with, and she didn't have any concerns, and I was like, perfect.
Good.
Okay.
So,
Still needed.
you know,
Yeah.
it could impact some of her housing budget and stuff, but it won't necessarily impact the day resource
Well, and
center.
we'll keep it on the agenda until we get information.
And I don't think you were in here.
Oh, yeah, can we include this at this point?
Yeah, so,
Here.
my understanding is the press release already
What?
went out. Catholic Charities is having some financial difficulties. With that, they're looking to raise $400,000 or get enough committed volunteers that they can have a volunteer there every night, overnight, to lessen some of their cost. It'll probably be and/or if it was just that, or they're going to have to go to being a winter only
Oh
night
my
shelter.
gosh.
So
Could get even.
so we met, we're working on it, we're working on solutions. You know, we met with pastor, ministers, priest, tried to think Catholic priest, from different churches. We met with Catholic Charities yesterday. County was there, city
my
staff was
God.
there to start working on a plan, to hopefully prevent it from closing over.
So we
this
would
summer.
lose night sheltering from like.
Were you
May
aware of this
through-
already? Yeah.
Hmm?
Are you aware of this already? Oh.
Was not mentioned.
We just found out yesterday,
Okay.
so, and so we were like, they were gonna tell their staff and the people that stayed
Yeah,
there
that makes
last
sense.
night, and we asked for a press release to go out. We asked last
so
night,
bad.
but they didn't get it quite ready, so it went out this morning.
Oh my God.
So what's the timeline to get
Yeah, I
that,
was just
those
gonna ask
funds
that.
raised for volunteers?
I think starting now, I mean, they'll have to put something together about where the funds go, how that all happens and everything, but,
You said 400,000
yeah, but we're.
annually.
We think, we don't know what's coming with, you know, funding and stuff. They did lose some grants, like Bremer kind of restructured their program. So that's been a grant they've gotten for years, so they didn't get that. There was some state and federal grants that they didn't get.
Oh my God.
So it's impacting their whole organization. So they're having to look at what they can do across the board to make cuts.
So as far as, like, I mean, if they already decided, like, we are, until we get this money, we are going to winter sheltering only, like, I mean, spring is next month. Like, is it starting now?
Right,
and
but
they don't have any?
it wouldn't be till May. So if there's enough,
Potentially May, we wouldn't have sheltering.
if there's enough money raised to stay open in June, they'll continue. And so it doesn't have to be all or nothing at once.
Yeah.
If it can be pieced together throughout the summer, they said they would do that. So
For the
we'll be meeting and
volunteers,
working with them.
is there training available?
yeah,
Okay,
they
'cause I
would
feel
do
like that
training.
would be
Yep.
hard
Used do the
to
overnights and
find
stuff.
people that are
Yeah.
qualified.
Yeah,
to do
it's, I mean, it's, you don't have to be that qualified, because honest, but they will do training.
Yeah.
I've
And you
done
wouldn't
the-
be there alone.
You are there
Nope.
alone.
You're there
Nope,
alone.
I
there'd
mean, in my
be-
experience.
There'd
you've
be
been there.
one staff person and the
Oh,
volunteer.
and a
They do
volunteer.
two people.
Oh, it's staff.
two
Okay,
people
Okay,
at
thank
night.
God.
Yeah.
When I do them, I do them alone,
I would
You're brave,
feel more
man.
comfortable with the staff.
Yeah,
of course.
wow. Yeah,
Okay,
that could be.
So,
this is
yeah,
bad
you'll probably see it on the news if it's not already
Oh.
out there. But just know that we all are working on it and, trying to prevent it from happening.
Yeah.
But it's really gonna need the community to come together to help not make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
so yeah, we just found that out too, just an hour ago, so. Bad news, but, needs to be talked about.
Okay.
Okay, so moving on from that until we get more information, Decky update, I mean, we're sort of there with you.
Yeah, we
Like,
talked a lot about
a
it.
lot about stuff, so is there anything else?
I mean, there's a million things. We're just busy. Obviously just had the annual awards event, which was really good.
So good. It was
Thank
so
you.
good.
We got our raffle license, which you guys know because we were there. And this is something that I don't want to say unfortunately, but it is like a shift that we have to make because of funding. Knowing that moving into 2026, if there is funding from the city, it'll probably drastically be reduced. And so to make up those dollars, we really need to be starting to do that. So that's something you're going to see popping up more. It's kind of a hard push for me because like they can be fun events, but it has to be focused on like making money less and less about like giving, the community support I want. So just with how small our team is, it's going to be difficult. Let's just put it that way. So that's something we're doing now. It's exciting. Hopefully we can do some fun stuff. Obviously I talked about the major events that are coming up. The things that I want to connect with you guys on are the major festivals that we hold in South Barstow, make sure we're aligning with your needs and that businesses really do understand the value of it. Something that can compromise DECI is an incomplete picture of what we do. So when people don't know us, that's why we're working on rebranding, don't know us, don't know what we're doing.
Mhm.
And it looks like we might just be throwing, parties in the district, making sure that the messaging about what that activity means broader scale for economic stability of the downtown is important. And so kind of just making sure that that message is well understood by the downtown community. And so I'm very concerned about our small businesses. I have been for a while. We've seen downward trends since COVID, with people's pocketbooks shrinking, the credit debt growing. We're just not seeing the same type of spending. And I think you're seeing it in here. It's pretty much across industry. I've talked to a lot of people. And this is, a nationwide problem, but it is definitely something that DECI wants to be like ahead of, in the sense of like, we absolutely need to be doing the most to make sure that people are continuing to come down to support these small businesses. Cause I'm very concerned about the reality that a lot of these businesses aren't going to survive another year or two with the current economic climate. So anything we can do to help offset those things from happening would be great. And then again, getting support from South Barstow Bid, since you are our, I would say the main portion of downtown where people recognize getting people down here to then facilitate. I've talked about our partnerships a little bit. Working very closely with Visit Eau Claire in the chamber, but even so, we're talking to Sonatag about getting some shuttle services for when they have major events that will stop at local establishments to pick up within the 4 business districts to get people down there.
Mhm.
Working with Axemen Football, who will be doing games down at Sonatag this summer, and making sure, again, same kind of concept, that we're getting people to come downtown to spend time and then helping them get over there easily, so that we're not kind of segmenting off the things that are happening. So exploring a lot of those avenues, conversations, but again, all the things take time. And so just trying to make sure that we're staying afloat alongside of that. We could certainly use like 2 more employees minimum,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we'll get there. So yeah.
So with, this is just like a conversation I've been having, like, I don't know, just in the last week it got brought up. And I brought this up with Graham too, because another one of my concerns with like building the business listing is just really like, we have little retail comparatively to like other downtowns. And getting a listing of who is retailing, but also like listing out their business hours.
Yep.
Because I can't tell you how often I hear from people like, well, I came down to come to this one, but this one wasn't open. If we can expose to the businesses what the other businesses are doing for retail hours. I mean, you might find out you're the only business on the street that's open at 10 a.m. on Wednesday, and
Well,
nobody
if you're
else
the only one
until-
open on Sunday, they sure stop in.
But it'd be nice, I mean, if we can get that to the individuals
Yeah.
so that they can maybe reflect a little and go, you know what,
That's a good
maybe
idea.
I should like shift my hours to be more like, and then we can maybe kind of do a little bit of a branding that's like, come shop our largest business hours between Monday and Thursday, 10 to 6 or whatever it winds up being. I think that would be nice to see.
Our next Mix and Mingle is going to be at Menominee Market in their event space. It's going to be May, I believe. It is gonna be May 28th. And out on their patio. So, one of the things, at that event that we wanted to talk about kind of, the things coming up this summer, but we want to start doing some alongside the chamber, again, not recreating the wheel, but business resource networking options. So, doing one possibly on, like what Rita said, giving people ideas of what they can do. That's not going to cost them a lot of time, energy, money, but that does activate the space outside their business or inside, collaborative efforts, collaborative marketing,
Right.
opportunities. So that's something that we're working on. And I think you're right about the hours. I think having other businesses be aware of, like, my neighbor is open this long, like,
Yeah. Well, and right, I mean, I know everybody picks their hours based on life, family, whatever their reasoning is, but I do think if they have the option to potentially shift hours to match.
Yeah.
It's just, it'd be more powerful, so people can actually come down and spend.
Yeah.
Lots of time shopping and not just.
And the other thing that Jackie wants to do, I mean, we get calls, about, economic development opportunities. So people like Nikki Chetwood is the one who called me about, like, I don't know where I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna close my business. And I was like, I think Wisconsin Maker Market has these things, being able to get that information out easier. And I know we have, economic development team here, but they might not be aware of those, like, really tiny nuances. And the only reason I knew is because I'm friends with these people and they're telling me, I found out that the Tangled, Chippewa Valley Floral is probably going to be moving, out of downtown, unfortunately, for reasons that really suck. Like,
Parking.
their customers complain about parking and unhoused, and they have a lot of, like, in their back alley, a lot of garbage and mess and, feces, and they're just kind of done with it. So she's leaving, whatever. It's okay. Businesses come and go. But making sure that, like, whoever comes in that space is a business. We don't want to have a lot of storefronts with, that don't have activity going on, right? Like, it would be very beneficial to Tangled to have another retail store there versus maybe an office or whatever, or it having it vacant. So, little bit
How
of
do you
recruiting factor.
encourage
Yeah.
retail downtown? Because that's really, that's where you get your foot traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but then
Cool.
of course, Maker's Market space is opening up too. So now you have,
The
she,
Opera House.
in the Opera House, it is weird. So she'll
Isn't
be
it right behind Casey's?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So they have from basically behind State Farm back towards the west to Graham Avenue. There's an entry on Barstow that you walk through the hallway, and then
Yeah.
there's an entry on is that Main
Graham?
Street?
Yeah.
Main
Oh,
Street.
Maine, yeah.
Yeah, and so so she has a variety of opportunities, which is really cool. So there's like 4 suites that people can rent and have their own business out of. She will have her business, and then there'll be also pop-up spaces that you can rent for like a 10 by 10 space in her store. She'll sell stuff, and then even for the suites, if they're not there, they can open and she can sell their products for them at a little bit lower consignment.
Yeah, that's cute.
So micro space.
Like a little mini Danbury,
Yeah.
with the little.
Other good thing is I heard Shift might have a business moving into their micro opportunity.
Sure do.
I want to know.
Oh,
Yeah, good.
yeah. I will wait for the press release, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be very cool.
Yeah, and
I'm
they're,
very excited. for
yeah,
it.
so those opportunities are popping up, which I think is really amazing because we need more micro retail, but I also think it speaks to the struggles that business owners are facing with the costs rising, less traffic in their spaces, and like the need to do that. Tangled had the same conversation about doing kind of rentable pop-up space because you need to have guaranteed income and you can't just rely on foot traffic at this point. So something that's pretty important. In all my free time, I'll tackle that.
First things first. Any other announcements?
We had a pop-up at Shift. for
Oh,
my
you're talking,
project.
Yeah.
And we did live screen printing. Of course, Bernie Sanders decided to come in at the same exact time, draw a little bit bigger crowd than us. No.
Oh.
And
Why didn't I hear?
I mean,
about that?
literally like the hours we
Yeah.
picked. So
Oh, sure.
a lot of the people who
I
might
would
have
say, slightly similar.
yeah.
crowd.
So, but we raised $400 and
Great.
that's only 10 more pop-ups until the mural's ready to 100% go. But it looks like,
I
so
know.
Tangled will be carrying those shirts. All the proceeds go to More Than a Mural. We're about $3,500 shy of, the mark to get it done. And so hopefully we're going to do a few more of those events, get a little more traction, and then go out and reach out to some of our people, try to get Benny Haas to throw throw a little money, he said.
Oh my, right?
Hey, we talked to him, John, so I think once we get maybe to that 2,000, we have that last 2,000 should be pretty quick. So plans are to start that project in May, which I think is gonna be an amazing addition to South Barstow.
The perfect placement, I think.
Yeah,
just gonna
super
be
exciting.
So fun right there. Mhm.
Cool.
Great.
Yeah, other than that, I got nothing, so meeting adjourned.
Great.
And and earlier than the last one.
I don't know my watch, I forgot, I took it off to reset it, and then I never put it on my wrist, and now it's been missing for 3 days, and I'm lost.
Bye, Dave. Oh, he left
He checked
without
it.
a bye.